Jai Gude, good evening everyone. My name is Someshwar. I welcome all of you on behalf of Art of Living organization to Yog Vaashishtha evening session. नमस्ते, मैं सोमेश्वर आप सभी का आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग संस्था की तरफ से योग वाशिष्ठ के सायंकाल के सत्र में स्वागत करता हूँ. We'll begin our session by chanting Om 3 times, just like we do it every single day. Today we are on 137th session. आज हम लोग 137वें सत्र में यहाँ पे पहुंच चुके हैं. Today's topic is that we have been going through the Pashana Akhyan, and here we are getting to know that how the various things, how the possibilities that exist in this world, which are beyond our even the buddhi, the tark, and imagination also. Such a thing, such a knowledge is being unfolded by Vaashishtha Muni here. We'll also look at what are the scientific viewpoint about this. We'll also look at what is real, what is unreal. We'll also look at the difference between the dream and the difference between what is happens here at the time of Pralaya. What is the correlation between that? We'll also see that when we say that Pralaya happens, on this earth planet also we have a history, and we have seen that n number of time the ice age and various such calamities have come into picture, and whenever we have brought to this point of time where the species and human life exist over here, and how much time it actually took. There is a very beautiful video of Baba who prepared this based on this. Make the Moon Smile is the title of that video, but it's related to this and how our entire environment is very, very important for us to protect. It means that, but the initial starting of that video, that clip, is something which is very, very good. So let us look at it, how it's going to help us in understanding this thing in totality. So we'll compare both. Now there are, when we say that this entire world is real or unreal, there are difference of opinions. So there is an opinion from Vedanta, there is an opinion from Buddhism, there is an opinion from this non-dual approach, there is an opinion from Yog Vaashishtha perspective, there is another opinion from the Gyan Bhairav perspective. So there are multiple such opinions are there about it. So we'll look at it and then let's see how it unfolds. So let's continue with our session by chanting Om 3 times. Let's sit comfortably. Aram se baith jaye, spine erect, shoulders relaxed, Aakhe band, close your eyes. And let's bring back our attention to our breath. एक साधारण सांस अंदर ले. Take a normal breath in and let go. Take a deep breath in and let go completely. Breathe in for the Omkar chanting. Let us invoke the divinity within. Guru का आह्वान कर ले. आवाहनम आवाहनम Punah Punah Satchidanand Rupoham Shivoham Shivoham Shivoham. गुरु वंदना कर ले। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Let us pray to the Master, to the Divinity, that if you are the source of this creation, of all this existence, then let that inspiration to live in this life also come from you. Whatever the words that come out of this mouth, whatever the actions that are happening around, whatever the thoughts over on to this mind and the power of discrimination arise in our intellect, the impressions that might be getting created on the memory, and if still there is an iota of that I, me, let all that known and unknown levels of our existence be inspired by that only one. If you have already experienced that there is nothing that can bind that one, that Chaitanya, Shiva, Brahma, call it with different name. In reality, it's just the one. If there is nothing that can bind, then what is it there? You are already free. To experience that freedom, that liberation, then let this remaining life also be inspired by that only one. Feel the presence of the Master within and outside, and slowly and gradually, with a gentle smile on your face, you may open your eyes. Let's continue with the session. I welcome all our Zoom participants, all our YouTube viewers, and all our Facebook viewers to this session. We are going through a Pashana, and there is a very beautiful knowledge that is coming up, which is probably beyond our imagination, beyond our intellect to comprehend it in totality. Yet we are putting an effort to go through it and see what are all the viewpoints, what are all the different things that can flow around this. We'll look into that. So we are looking at the story of Pashana Akhyan here, where Vaashishtha continues to tell this story to Rama, and Rama also doesn't stop in between. He also keep on asking the very curious questions, and that is how the knowledge unfolds. So Vaashishtha Muni wants to go into a deep meditation. He goes into the deep meditation. While searching for the place, he happens to go into the Chidakash, and he happens to meditate there for 100 years. After 100 years, when he comes out of that, he happens to get into the consciousness of that Aham Bhavana, to again come back to his Jiva Bhava, into this individual consciousness. That is where Rama also asks, how come you got Ahankara? Is it's not Ahankara, it's the Ama. Just a being, that feeling of being, that comes into just something feeling separate, that comes into picture. Because of that, only this individual consciousness possible. Otherwise, there is no possibility of such individual consciousness. Jiva Bhava is not possible without the Aham Bhava. Ahankar is not required, ego sense is not required, but just being, that awareness of being is essential to be exist. So these are all the existence levels of your existence. They are all there. They are essential so that you are there. So let us look at it, how the other things unfolds over here. So here Vasishtha Muni, Prabhu Ramchandra asked this question, and Vasishtha Muni answered it that it is just there at the level of that. It doesn't get translated, never get translated into any ahankara, any ego sense. Then he continues that, okay, this you heard that lady's voice, what happened to that? So he explained that, okay, I become Chidakasha, she came over there, and then she told me her story, that how she is coming from the Pashana into the stone. So she stays in that stone where her husband is there, and there is entire Brahmanda is there, all the three lokas, Patal Loka, Bhuloka, Sargoloka, everything is there, just like our earth which we see here, just like we see this universe, the entire that Brahmanda is there inside that stone. Becoming curious about it, both of them are supposed to go in front of that, and they do not see anything inside the stone. Again Vasishtha Muni asked that what is going on. So she says that yes, this is what is it. When I was talking to you, I explained to you everything about my story, and that point of time I spoke about my husband. That time I spoke about the that dukkha, that dharmanasya, that I have gone through, that sadness I have gone through. We both got into the conversation where there was a dvait, there was a duality that was involved. Because of that, we have come into that physical sthula consciousness. And in a physical consciousness, when you see something with your open eyes, with this chakshus, with these eyes, obviously you will not get to see the details of that, what is happening inside. So we need to again go ahead and meditate, get ourselves into that subtle consciousness, so that we can enter over there and see what's happening. This is exactly the both they agree. They happens to sit for a meditation, and then after meditation they get into there. You can assume that Chidakasha, that subtle sthiti, and both of them enters there. Now there is a very beautiful conversation that happens between the Brahmadev and the Vasishtha Muni. Here, Vasishtha Muni asks Brahmadev, you know everything. She tells that he is my husband. He says that I only created. She is in the form of, her name is Vidyadhari. She is in the form of that Vidya Maya. She is in the form of that Vasana has arisen in her. And because of that, she assumed herself that she is my wife. And then to achieve all these things, she has gone through all this. Because of that lust, because of that Vasana, Kama Vasana, she has gone through all this dukkha. And then after that, when she got into dispassion, she studied yoga, abhyasa, pranayama. She attained all the siddhis, and to validate that, she was traveling through that where she met you. She requested you to come and guide. So when she comes, he knows you know everything. You are the Brahmadev. You know all these things. So that is how the story is progressing. And that when these things are happening, that point of time, the Brahmadeva says that this is the time now. This is the end of this that kalpa, and this is the last of that manvantara, and this world, this Brahmanda in which is there in that Pashana is going to end now. And so while after saying so, he gets into the meditative state. Everybody else along with him gets into the meditation. We have seen a very descriptive description of that in the yesterday's session, how that entire pralay happens. So we'll not get into details of that. Right. So you'll also watch, there is very beautiful video of a Baba related to this. What happens when such all the entire species got extinct? Have this happened earlier on this earth? Yes or no? If so, what is it that? We'll get to see the details of that also in that. So when these things comes, that point of time, there is this Brahmadeva is there who gets into complete a meditative state. He is sitting in Padmasana and he is in meditation. All the other the devas, that they also gets into Brahaspati, Shukra, Indra, Kuber, Yam, Chandra, Varun. There are so many devarshis, Gandharva, Siddha, Sadhyadev, etc., etc. So many of them are there, and they also gets into the very meditative state. Even those 12 suns, those Bara Aditya, they also come there, because that all the things that has to happen is already happened. They come there and they also sit for the meditative state, and almost now it's going to kind of pralaya. That is going to, that entire thing is going to end. So that is what is that sthiti is something which is observed by Vasishtha Muni. Now the question comes here that if we see the utpatti of this, everything is there in that, from the chitta akasha, the chidakasha, the chitta akasha comes into existence, and then all these things appears to be like a unreal world, and it appears to be projected in the chitta of that chidakasha. So is then this destruction of the world is equivalent to dream? Naturally this question will come. So here Vasishtha Muni tells this to Rama, that is this just a kalpit thing when you mention that this is just a kalpit, this is just a projection in that chitta. And many times you have given an example of dream, how does the things we see in it is a dream, and when you becomes Jagrita, comes into the Jagrita Avastha, that dream disappears. Is something comparable with this pralaya, this destruction that is happening here? And that is where the Vasishtha Muni addressed this question, that when it happens in the dream, that you are in a Jagrita Avastha, you leave that Avastha behind, you get into the dream, that is the Swapna Avastha, and in dream you are watching everything. You can even watch the entire Brahmanda in the dream. But the moment you come out of that dream, you becomes the Jagrut, that point of time, just that particular dream has disappeared. All our levels of existence are still intact. Your body is intact, your buddhi is intact, your mind is intact, chitta is intact. No, everything is there intact. It's just that swapna that has diminished. But when in case of pralaya, all these things, that Brahmanda, in all that Brahmanda is there, that there is other than that self, nothing else exists. It doesn't exist. There is no body sthul consciousness that disappear. Then there is at the level of prana, that vayu, that disappears. All the pancha mahabhuta, that disappears. Then if all this pancha mahabhuta disappears, then pancha tanmatra disappears. Then obviously all the chitta and its 4 levels, the intellect, buddhi, that smriti, memory, that thing, your mind, ego sense, that all these 4 also dissolves completely. They disappear completely. There is no pancha mahabhuta, there is no pancha tanmatra, there is no individual consciousness. Everything becomes one with the supreme consciousness. That is the difference between the dream and the actual pralaya that happens. Now when we see this pralaya, this destruction, like this is being said, so that is, which is explained here now. Now, if you see it from a other perspective, other angle, there have been this srishti. If we see this srishti and you are as a humanity here, this humanity or even the other species, they have become extinct n number of time in this earth planet. So because of that, and if you look at it from the perspective of science, this destruction, what is being said here, it is just like a dream, but not exactly a dream. So this becomes fully destroyed and all that. There is a difference of opinion that comes into picture. So that is there in that opinion, this pralaya, what has been explained here, like that the Mimamsak and the Charvak. Charvak is another rishi who has a difference of opinion here. And we'll now look at what is the opinion of Charvak here, the Mimamsak here, what is the opinion of Vedanta here, what is the opinion of here Yog Vaashishtha here, what is the opinion of other Buddhism here, what is the opinion of the science here, what is the opinion of Vigyan Bhairavi. There are multiple opinions about this existence of this world and its destruction. So let's look at one by one. The first approach is of a Buddhism. So if you see Buddhism, if you study the Buddhism, what is there in Buddhism? In Buddhism, we see that, okay, this body exists. Buddhism does accept the level of mind also. It's there. But Buddhism means, say, it is anatma. Anatma means what? This entire srishti that is there, there's a concept of shunya. There's a concept of zero. That shunya is there. So in Buddhism, say, it's all right. If you want to be liberated, you want to be free, you have to really be free from this mind. That is where it is. Beyond that mind, beyond that chitta, buddhi, everything is there. Ego sense, everything. But in Buddhism, there is no concept of atma there. Buddha says that I have searched for that atma, is something called as self and atma everywhere, but I did not find anything such called atma. So that is the, so if you want to make yourself free, this is where the concept of you just make yourself free from your chitta, that is your all the other levels of your existence, make yourself free from mind, and if you are able to do that, you are already free, you are liberated, you are mukta. That is there. Now, as there is no Ishwar, there is no Atma and all these things, the other existence of these things, what we have heard here, that does not come into picture. No, it's out of question. So then all these things which is there, it remains as it is. Even though the species and all these things, they are instinct, yet this, all the planets, all this sun, the Milky Ways, the Earth, all the other planets, they are intact, they remain over there, no, like that. So this is one way of looking at the things. Science, if you see, it's something related to Buddhism. It also accept the same thing that is there, but some scientists do believe God also. Here there is no concept of God, Ishwar, Atma, Chaitan. That is, there is no such concept. Here in science, some science does believe in that, but they say we don't know. Yet we are not able to explain that thing. So if you see this movie called What the Blip Do We Know, there you will see all the quantum mechanics, quantum physics, all the various beautiful concepts by the top-notch things, but they also accept that there is something else which we are yet to discover, which is beyond the possibilities of quantum mechanics, quantum theory, the string theory, etc. That's very beautifully explained in that movie. What the Blip Do We Know? And then there's a Down the Rabbit Hole. These are the two. Down the Rabbit Hole is a sequel of What the Blip Do You Know. It's worth watching that. We have, in this Yog Vaashishtha session, we have watched it 20 minutes, and we also discussed that how the Yog Vaashishtha and that movie is relevant, concept is relevant here. So that scientific perspective in totality is taken. If you watch the initial versions, go on the YouTube, 6-7 sessions are dedicated to this. You can watch that. So that is a science perspective. We have seen the Buddhism perspective. We have seen the science perspective. Yeah. Now let us look at, there is one more perspective, which is, it comes as a Bhakti Marg. So in Bhakti Marg, what we say that I am Atma. I am this individual consciousness as Atma, and then there is something else, that supreme power is there, which is called as Paramatma. So I am a Jiva, there is something called as Shiva, I am Atma, there is Paramatma, and these both are separate. How can Jiva, if I am only that thing, how can that thing? So in Bhakti Marga, there is always a duality that exists right from the start even till the end. Till the total merger, means the Videha Mukti happens, that this Jiva becomes, it's destroyed and completely becomes into Shiva. That merger happens, total merger. Till that point in time, that duality always exists. So we pray, then somebody is there, I am Atma. So I am at somebody who is lower position, and then there is somebody who is supreme. And then I pray to that. So that is where the devotion comes into picture. So this devotion aspect is there. When we say I am there, and then I have a Sadguru, I have a Guru in life. So I am the disciple, I have a Guru. So duality is still there. But when you go into deeper and deeper, that comes another aspect of that. So in the devotion, there is always a duality that exists. So this is duality approach. Duality does exist. Now let us look at, there is one more approach of the Vedanta. Now there is one more approach in between before we go to the Vedanta. There are other approaches in the Shrutis, into the Smritis. These are also the scriptures that are there. And in some of the scriptures where the Mimamsak and the Charvak, they have the different opinion. What they say, so if we see some of the Shrutis and Shrutis in the Vedanta, they have a different opinion. That will take it because it matches with the Vedanta. Yog Vaashishtha will take it in the next opinion. But right now, let us see what is the Charvak and other Mimamsa say. They say, yes, fine, we do accept that there are 5 elements. Pancha Mahabhutas are there. There is also an energy, Ishwar, Shakti, Atma, Paramatma that also exists. And it exists, that 5 elements exist. And he says that even though on this earth, if you see it from the perspective of earth here, this Prithvi means earth, Apa is water, Teja is fire, Vayu is an air element, and the 5th one is the Akash, which is nothingness. So in that nothingness, that at nothingness is there, ether element is there, so what is it? Destruction, it never get destroyed anyway. Obviously, it is never destroyed anyway, it is there. But even this Prithvi means not just a physical earth, what we call as earth is not that. It's basically the matter, physical matter that is there around the entire universe. That Tattva, that Jada Tattva is called as Prithvi Tattva. Now, Apa Tattva, Tej, Vayu, all these things. So for all the 5 elements, here Charvak says that they continue to exist. See, whether the life is there or not, they continue to exist. So if you go on to the multiple other planets, is there a life there? No, there is no life. Yet they exist. They are there. The sun is there. All the other planets are there. In the universe, everything is there. So like that, whether this in this Srishti, what we say as Srishti, the Prakriti, in that life, it doesn't exist, yet all these 5 elements always exist. They are formulated probably at the time of Big Bang theory, is what science says, and what has happened, nobody knows. But we just say that it has happened like this from a scientific view. So when it is formed, it is there and it is going to remain. No, it is not that this Jagat is going to get nashed. No, that complete destruction of this universe is not going to happen like that. This Bhuta and Akash Tattva, which is not there, which is also one of the Pancha Bhuta, but there is nothing else. It's nothingness. Those things always remain. Even though the biologically this physical body gets into Vigatan, that biological degradation of that happens, and then again it is formulated using the 5 minutes. Again, it is submerged into the 5 elements. That is there, like that is there. So if you see it from the perspective of the Chaitanya, the consciousness, from the perspective of knowledge, that Adhishtan Atma, etc., that thing will never be destroyed. That will still remain. No, that thing is there, and then that point of time this. So here there is another thing, that is the concept of Vedanta, right? This Shrutis, Smritis, and Vedanta is there, and the perspective of Yog Vaashishtha that says that okay, that Chaitanya is there. In that Chaitanya there is an wanting to be separate and just express itself comes into picture. Why? There is no such reason. It just like that ocean wave comes into the ocean and then it takes the form in that thing, that it expresses itself as Chaitya, and then that Spuran is called Chaitya. Then the Chitta comes into picture, and in that Chitta it is expanding all this thing just like a dream. So in reality, nothing is actually formulated. That is the concept of this Yog Vaashishtha. So that's the reason, sir, there is only one real, or it is beyond this real and unreal, because what that truth is that we don't know. Only we can address it with neti, and this entire world is what appears to you as real is also not real. It's unreal world. So that is the concept of Yoga Vaashishtha and Vedanta also. Now in this there is which it comes under Advaita. Advaita means non-duality. This is a non-dual approach. There is only one thing that is there, which is Chaitanya, which is consciousness. So we call it with different names. We call it Shiva, we call it Brahma, we call it Chaitanya, consciousness, Atma, Paramatma, etc. But yet it's only one. That's a non-dual approach, Advaita. Now this is another viewpoint associated to this. Other than that, there is one more viewpoint, which is also an Advaita, which is also a non-dual approach, that is approach of the Vigyan Bhairava. What does Vigyan Bhairava says here? Vigyan Bhairava says that yes, there is this something called as Shiva. That thing, something which we don't know, that is nothing but the Shiva. Now this Shiva is when calm and sad and it's into Shunya Sthiti, not doing anything. That point of time we call that as the Shiva. Now when that same Shiva expresses itself into some spandana, into some activity, into something, that is called as Shakti. So the expansion of that Shiva is called as Shakti. And when that Shakti is there, the Shiva and Shakti together, which are not two, they are only one. No, it's the Shiva's Shakti. So they are not two, there's only one. That Shiva's Shakti, when Shiva and Shakti expresses itself, this entire world appears out of them. They are the one who are the creator of this world. And then Shiva is real. The Shakti, Shiva Shakti is also real. And this entire world, which is come out of Shiva and Shakti, that is also real. So there is a fundamental difference between the Vedanta, Advaita, that philosophy, Yoga Vaashishtha philosophy, and the philosophy of the Vigyan Bhairava. So here it's an unreal world. Here it said that it's the, here when we say that it's the world is there, which is appear in the Yoga Vaashishtha perspective, Vedanta perspective, it is discarded as it's just a Maya. It is just illusion, delusion, just a maya, so just a dream that is being seen in the chitta of the Brahmakasha, the Chidakasha. Here it says that this entire world, no, there's a fundamental difference between both of them. This entire world, which is an expansion of Shiva, and the Shakti, that this entire world is also real. So that is where the trident philosophy comes, that Trishula and trident tree. So Shiva, Shakti, and the Jagat, this world, these three, all three are real in nature and they continue to exist. So now let us look at this pralaya. When we say this pralaya happens, what is it happening? So from the Yoga Vaashishtha perspective, we have just already saw it. I'll recap it for you, that this entire thing that will diminish and nothing will remain. That thing will remain. Again, at one point of time, when it feels like it will create something else, again it will go. And this thing continues to happen. Means what we are saying, this universe, this earth, sun, many such suns, many such stars, many such Milky Ways, many such Brahmandas, they will appear to exist. They will cease to exist. Nothing will be there. And then again, it will just means like if you see it from a perspective of Big Bang, like this, Big Bang happens, again this destroys, again the Big Bang will happen, again this. So like that wave that comes into the ocean, like that this continue to keep on happening. So that happens. So here there is a difference of, no, this doesn't, this is not like that. It just keeps, it just stays like this. It can stay like this. It can continue to stay like that. So this is the differences of various approaches. Nothing to get stuck into any one of the concept. Become free. And whenever there is confusion, Buddha says that, okay, listen to my knowledge, my upadesha, and then beyond that, continue to walk on that path whenever there is a conflict between these scriptures. So he is the one who guides. So if you see all the Ask Gurudev sessions and all that, he clears out such doubts, even of scientists, no, even of the monks. So when you read through the scriptures, when such differences of opinion happens, there is a possibility of confusion. So he says, Gurudev, I am there, listen to me, and I will remove all your confusions, which he have removed, no, from us. There is no space of confusion. Whatever is there, there is a total acceptance, because what the reality that thing is there is not known to us, and we cannot even know at the level of your buddhi, at the level of tarka. In such things, it's just a matter of experience. Just go through, just be, continue to walk on this one. So that is where, from my perspective, I conclude. Now let us look at about that pralaya and that extinction that happens from a perspective of Bhava. So we'll watch that video, and if there after that, if there are any questions, we'll pick up those questions also. So I'll share my screen and let's watch that.
Where are you from? Can someone go with the mic, please?
I am Vinod from Punjab.
Punjab.
I am Runmai from Pune.
Pune, okay.
I am from Gurgaon.
You're from Gurgaon, all right.
I am from Surat, Gujarat.
Okay, you're from Surat. Yeah. So if I ask everybody, where are you from? You will say, I am from Gujarat, I am from Maharashtra, I am from America, I am from Paris, I am from Bangalore, and so on, right? That's the problem. You know where I am from? I'm from this beautiful planet. And all our problems start only because we think we are from Surat, or we are from Jalgaon, or from LA, or we are from Tokyo, or we are from Bangalore or Chennai or wherever. We forget that we are from the planet Earth. If you have done an Art of Living course, there is a question where it says, where are you? So today I'm going to answer that question. Where are you? This place, yeah, it started a very long time ago. To figure out exactly how long, I have a question for you. How much is a billion? A billion is 1 followed by 9 zeros. But you know exactly how much that is? A billion seconds ago, it was 1983. One of my favorite movies was playing, Return of the Jedi. And a billion minutes ago, Jesus was still alive. And a billion hours ago, it was the Stone Age. We are going way back, 5 billion years ago. The sun had just finished forming. And there was a lot of this interstellar debris. And for 500 million years, this debris, these stones, they banged into each other. And smaller stones banged and made bigger stones, and bigger stones banged and made even bigger stones, and those became planets. And this was what our Earth looked like 4.5 billion years ago. Yeah? It was a ball of fire, molten rock. Temperatures which were in excess of 12,000, 15,000, 20,000 degrees Celsius. Volcanoes, tornadoes, tsunamis, you name it, and all of it of fire. It was really, really your definition of hell. And as if things could not get any worse, something else happened. Another planet came and banged into us. The debris from that collision went 30, 40 kilometers into the space. And for some time, Earth had rings like Saturn. But gravity did its thing, and through this collision, what came was the moon, what we are going to be celebrating tomorrow. Around 3.9 billion years ago, all the planets in the solar system had finished forming, and there was still a lot of these meteors and meteorites which were left, and they were being attracted by the other planets and our planet's gravity. And so for 20 million years, there was bombardment. 20 million years we were bombarded by meteors, this planet. And this was an absolutely amazing thing. You know why? Because each of these meteors that came from space had salt in them, trace amounts of salt and trace amounts of water, very, very little water. And little by little, little by little, little by little, water came. And this water that was formed so many, many, many years ago is still the water that we are all drinking, that is raining, that we used to, take baths with, that we used to water our plants with, that we wash our cars with. There is no new water, only this water. 3.9 billion years ago, the water had come, and we are just using it again and again and again and again and again. Approximately 1.5 billion years then went, 3.9 say, it came to 1.5 billion years where the water solidified the crust. Remember, it was all molten rock, then the water fell on it, the crust got solidified, and this water seeped into the crust, right down to the core, where it met even hotter substance, and it evaporated and came back up. And that made what we call the primordial soup. Many vitamins, minerals got added to the water, and then magic happened. The first one-celled creature suddenly came into existence. We don't know how, we don't know where, how this happened, it just happened. The conditions were right, that's all they say. And slowly over time, that one cell became two cell became 3 cells. And in the shallows of the oceans of that time, there were these bacteria called stromatolites. And they had a peculiar taste, like you and me. They like sugar. Yeah, I always knew there was a purpose of sugar. They loved sugar. So they took the carbon dioxide, which was abundant, they took the water, and they took the sunlight and created something called photosynthesis. And through photosynthesis, they released oxygen in the air and in the water and made sugar, which they sat and ate for 2 billion years. These stromatolites put oxygen into the water of the planet and into the atmosphere of the planet and made it suitable for life. And amazingly, these stromatolite colonies, some of them are still alive and still functioning. After that, there was a tectonic shift. Earthquakes happened. And this entire land mass called, at that time, Rodinia. There was nobody to call it that. It is just that we have given that name, Rodinia. It came up to the surface. And along with it came a lot of volcanoes, which erupted for another 10 million years. Volcanoes are erupting and throwing up gases of all sorts. Then for long time there was a lot of carbon dioxide which accumulated into the atmosphere around the earth, and because of that sunlight couldn't get through. So from fire we went directly to ice, and the first ice age happened. Our planet became encased in 3 kilometers of ice, and this stayed like that for a very, very long time. After a long time, and we are now at 600 million years, almost yesterday in this scale of things, the ice started melting. It took 300 million years to melt. As the ice melted, a lot of oxygen came up and the ozone layer got formed. Now all of us know what the ozone layer is. It stops the ultraviolet rays of the sun to come and hit us. Without the ozone layer, we would all be fried. So the ozone layer came so that life on earth, life on the land could start. There were plants and there were animals, and then our friends the volcanoes came again. They erupted, greenhouse gases got into the atmosphere, another ice age. The entire species of plants and animals was extinct, wiped out completely, 100% over. Yeah, and it was a good thing for you and me. You know why? Because those are what the fossil fuels are all about. These plants and animals died so that today we can drive our cars. Alright, so they became the fossil fuel, they became your petrol and diesel that we are using today. And after this, as usual, there was another landmass that came up, and if you look at this, it will look very familiar. Because this is the origin of the continents as they are today. They were all joined together, and then they separated slowly, continental drift happened, and during that time, the dinosaurs came. 230 million years ago, the dinosaurs roamed on this planet, and they stayed for 165 million years. That's a bloody long time. And it seemed like nothing on earth could shake them. But something not of earth happened. A meteor collision. A meteor came and banged into the earth. It was a huge rock, 35,000 feet high when it impacted. Meaning where aeroplanes are flying today, that high it was when it impacted. Yeah? And again, huge amount of debris came, carbon dioxide came, ice age happened, and the dinosaurs were extinct. Why? Because they were cold-blooded creatures, right? The mammals, they knew how to wear their woolies, so they survived. After this entire catastrophe, yeah, this impact was like 1 billion Hiroshimas, 1 billion atom bombs exploding together. After this, we come to the age of mammals, 65 million years ago. And then 4 million years ago, some chimpanzee decided to start walking on its feet. Just 4 million years ago. And that is our evolution to the last, where we are more or less of how we are now. That was just 40,000 years ago. And the earth, meanwhile, the continents had drifted apart, the ice caps had formed, one more ice age happened in the middle, but the mammals knew how to wear their warm clothes, you know. So they survived, and earth as we know it, 7,000 years ago, at the time of Lord Rama, it became the way we know it today. We are home to 8.7 million species, and it took 4.5 billion years to come to where we are today. Don't you agree that this should be preserved, taken care of, and cherished? Yes or no? Yes? This is the history of where are you. Next time someone asks you this question, where are you? You can give them this whole lecture. Yes? 4.5 billion years, 8.7 million species, we are one of them. It is very nice and very wonderful that Gurudev on this Guru Purnima has said that we should look at the conservation of the environment, because it really needs to be conserved. It really needs to be taken care of. There have been so many crazy things that have happened for us to be where we are today. Our version of life, what do we really need? Air, water, and hopefully a relaxed, calm mind and a healthy body. Everything else is a want. This is a need. So let's look at them one at a time. See, there are many systems on the planet. The nitrogen
Jagadev, so that was the how this entire thing, when we say that this creation does happen, how does the destruction happens in between, in the form of ice age or in the form of meteorites that come in picture. So that destruction is the version of scientific explanation of the destruction. The pralaya that we have seen, that is the entire, this everything else, what we see as sun, what we see as moon, what we see as this entire Milky Way, everything, that destruction of that entire universe, the destruction of that, that is the pralaya. Means it's way beyond this, what is being explained here. This is purely from a scientific perspective. Even science also doesn't know exactly what happened, but they have done that lot of research. And based on that, they have said that this is the possibilities that has happened because of that where we are there. And it took 4.5 billion years. And they have their own mechanism to evaluate this. So they have come up across this research, this study. So amazing. And what we are discussing here is way beyond the imagination of even all these things. That's the reason this is so deep. That's the reason it's so sometimes appears to be so complex. But we have Guru in our master. He has given those things, and we are able to simplify this and understand and go into deeper of these things. So with that note, I'd like to take a pause here. If you have any questions, you are welcome to ask. We can discuss it, and you're welcome to share your takeaways also. Over to you all. Jai Gurudev. Unmute option is already been made available here. You're welcome to unmute and share whatever you would like to share. If you have any question, you are welcome to ask that also.
So Jai Gurudev, that was amazing, to see how we are here on the earth. So many questions have been answered. Like, we always has to have that in that mind, But it was very good video by Baba, and giving us a full light of everything that what has been happened these so many years. We have, of course, heard it in history, but it was a bit more in depth with a million years ago. So, yeah. And it seems there is one theory also, you are born from the stars. Even that is another theory, that you are born from the stars. So even that goes well. Anyways, wherever we are good. And of course, universal. So that was very nice. I liked it. And the parlay also that we have been seeing here, according to the Yog Vaashishtha, it is what is being happening every time that we have seen. So those yugas and everything that are so, defined so good in a nice way. Proper way that we have the clarity. Over to you. Anybody else who would like to say anything can go ahead. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev Sangeeta ji. Yeah, कुछ प्रश्न है या कुछ शेयरिंग है, तो you are welcome to do that. If not, then I will take a pause today. We'll आज के 17वें को यहाँ पे हम लोग रोक देंगे. We'll meet tomorrow once again. Jai Gurudev.